What's going on, everybody? This is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are back with another banger. So please smash that like button, you guys, and subscribe. And yeah, man, we're gonna talk to Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios breakdown, man, and all of the undercard that's going on. It's a little shake up in the undercard as well today, you guys. So I want to touch on that too. Um, a bunch of news that's breaking out about the undercard as well. But it's a lot to talk about this Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia fight, man. This is gonna be Ryan Garcia. First of all, before we do anything, smash that like button, man. Please smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, man. Shout out to Mello in the chat, man. He said, "What's up, bro? What's going on, man? We're gonna talk this. We'll talk a couple fights today, man. It's going down this Saturday. And I think it's a pretty big fight, man. It's definitely big for Ryan Garcia's career and what he's trying to do. This is gonna be Ryan Garcia's first world title. You know what I'm saying? Possibility. You know what I'm saying? He's had other chances to get one. He was able to try to get one with Rolly Romero. We all know how that went. That didn't go as scheduled as planned. That was kind of a doozy. That was that was it was a sleeper, man. It was, you could fall asleep on that fight, man. It wasn't a good fight at all, man. I think Ryan Garcia was scared of Rolly's power, or he just respected it. He respected it. He tasted it early, got knocked down, and then he didn't want any more parts of that. Will we see that in this fight coming up? Will we see, Ryan Garcia, get touched early by to the chin by Mario Barrios and respect his power, because Mario Barrios does have power as well. We've seen that on numerous occasions, man. But this is gonna be a big fight, man. Mario Barrios has done well in the sport. He's fought legends like Keith Thurman, Javante Tank Davis, Manny Pacquiao. I mean, the list goes on, man. Mario Barrios was able to extend his career on the matchmaking that PBC and the networks have done for him, man. He's been able to extend his career, man. This is his last. I'm gonna just go down his last 5 fights that he's had. And he's had a bunch of fights, man. But his last 5 fights dating back in 2023, he faced you guys. You guys know he fought you guys. He fought you guys. He beat you guys, which a lot of people didn't think he was going to be able to beat you guys. He was able to beat you guys in a 12-round unanimous decision. Jay Will in the chat, salute. Smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, man. Barrios, I thought, lost his last 2 fights. He got a draw in his last 2 fights. So he didn't lose them. He definitely didn't lose them, but he got a draw. Some people say he might have lost them, but, on paper, he got a draw. We all know that the draws can, it can be favorable, whoever's the A side. Smash that like button and subscribe as soon as you guys come in here, man. I need to get these likes up ASAP. But he fought you guys. Mario Barrios did. He did well against you guys. He did really well. He surprised me and beating you guys. But some would say, what you guys did we really get? Did we get the you guys that fought Earl Spence, or did we get the you guys that were leftovers? You know what I'm saying? Smash that like button. So with that being said, after he fought you guys, he fought Fabian Madonna. Okay, that's not Marcos Madonna, that's Fabian Madonna. Okay, he wound up beating him in another 12-round unanimous decision. Then he fought Abel Ramos. Okay, he had a split decision draw against Abel Ramos. Smash that like button and subscribe. It was a real tough fight, man. Real tough fight. Ramos had 6 losses at the time too, and he wasn't able to. He was 28-6 with 2 draws, and Abel Ramos was able to, go tooth and nail with Mario Barrios, with a lot of people didn't think he was able to do that. They didn't think he was going to be able to do that. A lot of people, wrote off Abel Ramos before Mario Barrios fought him, but that was a draw. Then he wound up fighting. Last year in July of last year, he wound up fighting Manny Pacquiao, July 19th to be exact. Okay, the scorecards read off. Tim Cheatham had it 114-114. Max DeLuca had it 115-113. And Steve Weisfeld had it 114-114. So that was a draw. So Mario Barrios was able to keep his world title. I think that we might be seeing Manny Pacquiao versus Ryan Garcia if Manny Pacquiao was able to win that fight last year. But being what it may, he was able to keep that WBC welterweight title and stopping greatness from happening with Manny Pacquiao. And trying to be one of the oldest champions, especially in the game right now. But he was able to get a draw with that. So now here we go. It's Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. Ryan Garcia's last 4 fights. We go Gervonta Tank Davis. We all know he had a lot of problems with Gervonta Tank Davis. Jay Will says, I guess he retired. No, Manny Pacquiao's about to fight in an exhibition against Ruslan Barodnikov. Okay, the guy that went life and death with Timothy Bradley. Smash that like button and subscribe. Should be exciting, fan-friendly fight. Should be. But we're gonna go down that as well. We're gonna touch on that as well, man. So we got Ryan Garcia fought Gervonta Tank Davis. We're going back, Ryan Garcia's last 4 fights, okay? He's 24-2, okay? 24-2 with 20 knockouts. Smash that like button and subscribe, okay? So he fought Gervonta Tank Davis, 7th round knockout. Loss. He fought Oscar Duarte, and that's another thing because Oscar Duarte is going to be on the undercard of this fight. So that's going to be, I think, that knockout win shows that Ryan Garcia does still have that pop. And that was in 2023. Then he fought Devin Haney. We all know he knocked out Devin Haney. Knocked him down 3-4 times. He got allegedly banned from the sport for a little while for failing drug tests. And he won that fight against Devin Haney, but they changed it to a no contest. Then you got Roland Romero, okay, which is he wound up losing that fight. He got knocked down in round 2, and he pretty much just tried to play it safe the rest of the fight. Smash that like button and subscribe, you guys. And here we are, Mario Barrios, Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. I think this is a pretty big fight, man. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. I think this is a big fight. Just because what's at stake. This is Ryan Garcia's first I didn't gonna say his first, but it's another chance at a world title. He hasn't been able to capture a world title, okay, in over 26 professional fights, okay? He's fought for a world title, He fought for a world title, I believe, he fought for a world title against Rolly Romero in his last fight, but he lost that fight, okay? He fought for a world title against Gervonta Tank Davis. He lost that fight. Okay, so right now, man, and we want to see what Ryan Garcia can do. He's fighting Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios is a slick. I think at this point, he's more of a slick veteran in the game because he's fought, um, future Hall of Famers. He's fought, Manny Pacquiao. He's fought Keith Thurman. He's even fought Gervonta Tank Davis. You know. But right now, man, at this point in his career, um, I want to see if Mario Barrios can weather the storm of a Gervonta Tank. Excuse me, can weather the storm of a Ryan Garcia. Can Mario Barrios get out of the way of that left hand of Ryan Garcia? That's going to be the key to the fight. That's going to be the key to the fight for Ryan Garcia to be able to win that fight, is he's going to have to stay out of the way of that left hand, man. That's a big left hand too, man. We've seen him knock down, the best, and rock the best. He's rocked Gervonta Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia has, with that left. He's rocked and knocked down, okay, Devin Haney with that left hand. So that left hand is definitely to be respected. Will he be able to land that left hand on will he be able to land that left hand on Mario Barrios is the $1 million question, but we'll see. We'll see. I think he can, if he picks his shots and if he uses his jab. But Ryan Garcia is more of a slugger. If he feels like he can get you out of there, and if Mario Barrios doesn't get the respect of Ryan Garcia early, I think it's gonna be a long night for Mario Barrios. I think Ryan Garcia is gonna be able to stay on him, but Mario Barrios throws a lot of punches himself. We seen that in the Manny Pacquiao fight. Hell, we seen that in the Gervonta Tank Davis fight before he got stopped. He was able to throw a lot of punches. So I think if he's able to throw a lot of punches in this fight, against Ryan Garcia, he can win this fight. This is a winnable fight for Mario Barrios. This is not a. Let me see what the odds are on this fight right now. I'm gonna look up the live odds. I'm gonna go to the Bet MGM Grand, and I'm gonna look up the live odds right now on this fight, man, because this is a big fight, man. Especially in both of these guys' career, because of Mario Barrios coming off 2 draws. If he can get a win against Ryan Garcia, I think this is a huge win. A huge a big deal for Ryan Garcia. For Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia. Whichever is able to get this win. But let's see these odds real quick. Let's look up these odds. Okay, so right now they got Ryan Garcia as a -225, and Mario Barrios is a +170. Okay. They got Ryan Garcia to knock out Mario Barrios is a +138. Ryan Garcia on points to win, just on points, is a +240. Mario Barrios to knock and stop Ryan Garcia is a +550. And Mario Barrios on points is a +333. And for it to be a tie, it's going to be a +1600. It's a +1600 to be a tie. Let me see what else we got on here. For this to go to full 12 rounds, this is a -118. I think that's a good pick. For it to go to full 12 rounds, I think that's a pretty good pick, to be honest with you guys. If you're a betting man out there and y'all want to look at a good pick, I think this fight could go 12 rounds. But it could end too, though. Both of these guys, Mario Barrios, I mean, he could stop Ryan Garcia. I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibilities, but that's highly unlikely to me. I think the more likely candidate to happen is for Ryan Garcia to stop Mario Barrios, or at least knock him down. I think at some point in this fight, if Ryan Garcia comes with that same fire that he brought against Oscar Duarte, um, I think Ryan Garcia can I think Ryan Garcia can actually stop can actually stop him. But we gotta see, man. Like I said, this is why they're fighting. Um, it's some other fights I want to talk about too, man. We've talked about the Ryan Garcia fight. And some other fights that I definitely want to talk about as well that's on this card right now. Let me go down to the next fight I want to talk about. You got Hitchins versus Oscar Duarte. Okay, that's another fan-friendly fight. I feel like Oscar Duarte's 30-2 with 23 big wins by way of knockout. Okay. He's fought, he's only lost, his only two losses is a KO loss to Ryan Garcia and a split decision loss to Adrian Estrella. You know what I mean? That was a split decision loss. He's got wins over Jojo Diaz, which he knocked out in the 9th round. Akhmedov, he won by unanimous decision. These are his last 4 fights. Miguel Maduna, which was 31-3, he knocked him out in the 7th round. And the best win, I feel like, on Oscar Duarte's career and on his, resume was the Kenneth Sims Jr. fight, which he was 22-2. Okay, and he wound up beating him by a 12th round mid decision. That was a 12th round mid decision. So, it was a real tough fight. But we know Kenneth Sims is a boxer, so he was able to box his way, to that, I feel like Oscar Duarte put a lot of pressure on Kenneth Sims Jr. He put a lot of pressure on that fight, man. That was a lot of pressure on that fight, and I think that was able to get him that win, putting that pressure on there. Can he put that same pressure? And I feel like Kenneth Sims Jr. and Hitchins got, similar styles. They got similar styles. They definitely got similar styles. My damn nose is stopped up like a muff. Similar styles. Similar styles. So we're gonna see. Let's see what else we got. So yeah, Hitchins and Kenneth Sims, man. He couldn't have picked a better fight to come off of than that Kenneth Sims fight, because that Kenneth Sims fight, like I said, they have similar styles. Hitchins is tall and lanky and rangy. So is Kenneth Sims Jr. Kenneth Sims Jr. is, 5'10" with a 69-inch reach. Okay. And Hitchins is 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. Okay, so Hitchins is even more rangier. But can Hitchins stop and be able to keep Oscar Duarte off of him for 12 rounds? Because we know Oscar Duarte, I believe his trainer is legendary Hall of Famer Robert Garcia. You know what I mean? And I think that's a hell of a trainer for that pressure. And we seen Hitchins in fights where he he didn't like that pressure as much. You know, we seen him when he fought, you know, Lamos, and that, you know, he in that fight, he, you know, he didn't really like that pressure. There's a lot of pressure in that fight. You know, he won that fight. He wound up winning that fight, but it was a lot of pressure being you know, put on him. And you know, it was a tough fight. Look, you know, even the judges on the Richardson Hitchison versus Lamos fight, you know, Tim Cheatham had it 117, 111. Max DeLuca had it 115, 113. And Steve Weisfeld had it 115, 113. And that was for the IBF Super Welterweight title eliminator. Okay, so then he got it. Then, you know, shout out to Oscar Duarte, you know. But Richardson Hitchison, he's 20-0 with 8 knockouts. Like I said, the Limos fight, I feel like was one of its tougher fights. He fought and beat, you know, Jose Zapata. He fought and beat, you know, Liam Perro, which Liam Perro has a win over George Kambosos. I mean, not George Kambosos, Teofimo Lopez, which that's a big win. And mind you, when Richardson Hitchison fought Liam Perro, he was 25-0. Okay? Close fight. You know, one of the judges, Frank Lombardi, had it 116, 112 for Hitchison. Nelson Vasquez had it 111, 117 for Perro, and Carl Zapaya had it 116, 112 for Hitchison. So Hitchison wound up winning that fight by a split decision. That was a split decision, close fight. Then he fought George Kambosos, which we all know George Kambosos has some good wins as well. George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez. Excuse me, it was George Kambosos that beat Teofimo Lopez, not Liam Perro. Liam Perro did beat Montana Love and Sabril Matisse. Okay, so he got good wins over those two guys. But yeah, man, so that's a good resume, man, for Richardson Hitchison, man. You know, so I want to see if he can, you know, if he can, you know, possibly stop Oscar Duarte. This is gonna be a tough fight. It's gonna be a tough fight, man. It's not gonna be an easy fight by no means. You know, Oscar Duarte is gonna bring it. He's, you know, he's like I said, he's with Robert Garcia out there, you know, at that, you know, Garcia boxing gym. So they're going to train him right. The conditioning is going to be right. I know for a fact that conditioning is going to be right. But I would love to see how this fight goes. You know, I would love to see how this fight goes. I think this is going to be a tough fight for Oscar Duarte to win. But he can win it. You know, he can definitely win it. I want to know I hope that Richardson Hitchison conditioning is good, because if his conditioning isn't good, then he's not going to be able to win this fight. I think Oscar Duarte is going to push him. Same goes for Oscar Duarte. If Oscar Duarte's conditioning is not right, Richardson Hitchison will test that. You know what I mean? Because Oscar Duarte did get stopped in the later rounds against Ryan Garcia. Does Richardson Hitchison have power like Ryan Garcia? I don't think he does, but it's a good fight. You know what I mean? Stylistically, you know, you got a pressure, come forward type of fighter in Oscar Duarte, and then you got more of a boxer, of a pure boxer, with Richardson Hitchison. You know what I mean? More of a rangy, you know, tall, lanky, you know, 140-pound, you know, champion. You know, definitely. Okay, so let me see. Let me see what else we got going on here, man. Let me see what else we got going on here. So in our next and for that fight, for the Ryan Garcia fight, I'm picking Ryan Garcia. For the Oscar Duarte fight versus Richardson Hitchison, I'm gonna pick Hitchison. But I think Hitchins can be tested, and he might lose some rounds in this fight. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna definitely be a good fight. Um, and the sleeper fight out of all of these fights right here, out of all of these fights that I'm talking about, man, the sleeper fight on the card, I think, and could possibly steal for the best fight on the card, is this Gary Antoine Russell versus Andy Hiraoka. Andy Hiraoka is from Japan. Gary Russell Jr., you all know he's from the DMV area. Trains with his brothers. Head coach is his brother. Um, you know, since his dad was his trainer, Gary Russell's dad was his trainer. He just, passed away the last year or two, I believe. Rest in peace to his dad. I was able to meet his dad. You know what I'm saying? So, very good man. Very a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. And he instilled that into his kids, man. We see the legacy continues with the Russell brothers. You know. So let's go on. Let's see what we got here, man. Let's see what we got here, man. And Gary Russell, man. Antoine Russell, to be exact. See what we got here, man. And mind you, man, this fight is in limbo right now because Andy Hiraoka visa, as of yesterday, wasn't looking good. I'm not sure if he's in the States yet. Before I break down this fight, let me see if Andy Hiraoka is in the States yet. Let me see what they saying so far about Andy Hiraoka. Let's see what we got here. As of okay, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Because at first, this fight was not gonna happen, man. It was in limbo. Okay, it says Andy Hiraoka, was having visa troubles. He still hasn't boarded a flight yet, but it says as of 10 hours ago, Andy Hiraoka received a call from the embassy in Japan and was approved for his visa to travel to Las Vegas for his title challenge of Gary Antoine Russell. He's flying out tomorrow. Okay. Okay. So let me see what else news. And Andy Hiraoka hasn't fought in over a year. Will he have ring rush? We got to talk about that as well. But that was 7 hours ago. That was 7 hours ago. It says Andy Hiraoka is only getting to Las Vegas 3 days before. It says Andy Hiraoka is only getting to Vegas, okay, 3 days before his bout with Gary Antoine Russell is an absolute nightmare. That's a 17-hour time difference to contend with, as well, having to make weight after traveling from one side of the world to the other side of the world, okay? But at least he's having 3 days, because at first they were limited to this all the way down to a couple hours, man. So, I mean, to, possibly coming in the day of the weigh-in, so he'll get a day to, get the jet lag off of him and try to get acclimated. But as of 7 hours ago, this fight is still taking place, you guys. So this fight is going down still. It's gonna be a good fight. I feel like this is gonna be a good fight, and this fight can steal the show. I feel like this fight can steal the show. Andy Hiraoka is 24-0 with 19 big wins by way of knockout. Okay. He doesn't have a whole lot of notable names on his resume, but he's knocked out pretty much everyone. And especially he's on, let me see. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fight knockout streak. Okay? Andy Hiraoka is on a 10 fight knockout streak. Okay? So that's a big, listen, man, that's a big, it's a big tall task, man. You know, even though that a lot of these guys that he's been fighting, you know, like the last 5 guys he's fought. Last 5 guys he's fought. You know, he fought Sean Kawhi, which was only 7-3. He knocked him out in the 6th round. He fought Alvin Lagombe. He was 13-5. Okay, knocked him out. Min Hu Jung. He was 13-3. Knocked him out in the 8th round. Sebastian Diaz. He knocked him out in the 5th round. He was 18-6. This guy's got multiple losses. These guys he's fighting. Ismael Barroso, which was 25-4. He knocked him out in the 9th round. But listen, this fight is taking place. I can't wait to see this fight, man. This fight is gonna be a barn burner, and it's definitely got, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Some people say it has upset alert written over it. I'm not gonna go as far as to say this is gonna be on Corey Lee Boxing's upset alert, because I think, to be honest with you, the level of opponents that Andy has fought has not been nowhere near the level of opponents that Gary Russell has fought. Okay, I think that this can be, you know, a tough fight for the first couple rounds, but I think that Gary Russell can get him out of there. I think Gary Russell can stop Andy Hiraoka. I think Andy Hiraoka can learn a lot from this fight. But I think, you know, in this fight, I think, you know, styles make fights, and we know Gary Russell can box, and he can box very well. You know, he beat Hitchins in amateurs, boxing. He beat Jerron Boots Ennis in the amateurs, boxing. He's a good boxer. We know that. High level, high IQ boxer. But will he use that is the question. Or will he get in a firefight with this guy, Andy Hiraoka? Because we know Andy Hiraoka definitely comes to bang. So, you know, this is going to be a tough fight no matter which way you look at it. No matter which way you cut it, it's going to be a tough fight for, you know, Gary Antoine Russell, man. Like I said, I think he can win this fight. Will it be an easy fight for Antoine Russell? That is yet to be determined. You know, but I know once he's going to be able to test Andy Hiraoka. If Andy Hiraoka is what, you know, a lot of these people are saying, like, shout out to True School Sports. He's saying that, you know, he's got this, I believe he said this might be on upset alert. I know there's a couple channels that had this fight on upset alert. Don't sleep. Do not sleep on Gary Antoine Russell, man, because I feel like that one loss he got, you know, that guy was more of a boxer, you know what I mean? And, you know, he was able to pick his shots well, and it was a tough fight. It could have went either way. That wasn't a one-sided, you know, he didn't just get a one-sided, you know, shellacking. That was a tough, close fight. So, you know, in this fight, I want to see, you know, because I haven't seen Andy Hiraoka box too much. I seen him, you know, try to come in there, you know, and try to get his guys out of there. And he's gonna listen. You're gonna have to. It's gonna be a dogfight, man, to be able to get, you know, Gary Antoine Russell out of there, man, because I think he's gonna come in there and try to get you out of there, buddy. You know, coming all the way from Japan, having visa issues, it's coming in for a big story. That'll look good on you and it'll look good on your resume. But will you be able to get that win in America? I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. You know, Gary Russell Jr. has tons and tons of experience. And I think skills pay the bills. And I think there's no different in this fight, man. I think Antoine Russell wins this fight by knockout. Okay, I seen Andy Hiraoka getting hit by far less opponents, too flush and too clean. Okay, can he hurt possibly Gary Antoine Russell? That's not out of the realm of possibility. But I feel like Gary Antoine Russell is a dog, and I feel like, you know, this is a big step and a big jump for Andy Hiraoka. I'm not saying he can't win, but I just don't see it happening. Not this Saturday. Not without, you haven't even fought anybody remotely close on the level of a Gary Antoine Russell. For you to jump, let me show you. For you to jump, okay? Your last fight was against Ismael Barbosa. Okay? Okay? He hasn't fought since y'all fought in 2024. You know? He hasn't fought since you fought, and that guy lost to Rolly Romero. Got knocked out by Rolly Romero. You know what I mean? But listen, you know, Andy Hiraoka will wind up knocking him out. He's from Venezuela, Ismael Barroso. But that's no Gary Russell, man. Far from it. You know, the guy has 4 losses and stuff like that. And I don't see it happening, man. I really don't see it happening. Then you fought a guy named Minhoo Jung. You know, you wind up knocking him out in the 8th round. But since he fought you, he's lost twice again. And hasn't won against anybody notably. You know, so some of the wins he's gotten, you know what I'm saying? And I know, you know, maybe this is, you know, his first time fighting in the States. I'm not 100% sure, but he's having visa issues, so I have to think that this could be his first fight fighting in America. I'll check that. I'll double check that. Yep. He fought there in Japan. His last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no, he fought. His last 9 opponents were all in Japan, but his 10th opponent, Ricky Edwards, he did fight at the MGM Grand. So he did beat Ricky Edwards in Japan. Okay, he wound up beating Ricky Edwards in Japan. He wound up getting that win. But like I said, Ricky Edwards, he's no Gary Russell. He's no Gary Russell. So, like I said, they said that the Ghost Martin could possibly fill in for you know, Andy Hiraoka if he couldn't fight. Which would be a hell of a fight as well. I would love to see the Ghost Martin versus the Ghost Martin versus Gary Antoine Russell. It's levels to this shit, man. I think Andy Hiraoka gets stopped. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. The more I think about it, the more ways I see this fight playing out in my head. You heard it here first. Andy Hiraoka is gonna get stopped by Gary Antoine Russell. Okay? You heard it here first. If you lasted 38 minutes of this live stream and you heard this gem at the very end of the live stream, okay, then it's a gem. You know, it's a gem for you. You know what I mean? Let me see what the odds are before I wrap up this live stream. I appreciate all you for watching this live stream. Hell of a live stream. You know, shout out to everybody that was in the chat. I know I don't do too many live streams. I need to get, you know, back on my live stream. But hey, they don't even have it up right now. They don't even have the odds of the knockout, or they just have Gary Russell minus 350 to win on MGM. That's on the MGM app, okay? Let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Lee Wood, Josh Warrington. That's another fight going down this weekend. It's going to be a big fight out there in the UK. It's another big fight out there in the UK. Okay, here we go. Gary Antoine Russell to win by knockout. Okay, is plus 150. Okay, Gary Antoine Russell to win by knockout is plus 150. Okay, I think that could happen, man. I'm telling you guys, man. And I don't even think this goes past 10 rounds. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The more I play this fight back in my head, man, and he could get caught early. You know what I'm saying? It's the way his style is. He's got a lot of knockouts early, too. So you see that he's willing to trade early. Will he respect Gary Russell, though? You know, will he pull out something that we haven't seen too much of in his past fights? You know, that's excuse me, bless me. So that's to be continued. But hey, man, that's why we fight. That's why, you know, these fighters fight. I like different it says to go the distance. It's a plus 115. Says no, this won't go the distance. It's a plus 115. Okay. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. I give you guys about 3 or 4 fight breakdown. It's going down, man. This Saturday, man. You know, Andy Hiraoka versus Gary Antoine Russell. Then you got Oscar Duarte versus Hitchins. And then you got Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. Please smash that like button and subscribe, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, man. All right. This is Corey Lee Boxing, man. And we're back with another banger. Please smash that like button and subscribe. Share this if you can too, man. Peace out.